hope you're all well. Today we're going to look at low lunge. Well, I'm going to look at low lunge. The cat's just here to watch and observe, I hope, and won't get too much in the way. So this is a weight bearing exercise on the knees, so just be careful if you have any knee issues. So if you can't bear weight through the knee, then maybe this is probably something to avoid or try, and if there's any pain or discomfort, you come out of the pose straight away and stop. If there's just some it's not comfortable to kneel, then you can do a couple of things. You can fold the mat over so you've got a little bit more comfort and more thickness and support. Or you can have a prop handy. I've got a blanket. You could use a cushion or something like that, a pillow, just to put another layer underneath, make it a little bit softer on the knees. So whatever works for you. Again, listen to your body. Don't push through any pain or discomfort. So there are a couple of ways to get into low lunge. I find the easiest way is to go from downward facing dog, which you've already got a video on, because I find there's more space for movement of the leg from the back of the body to the front of the body. But I'll show you from kneeling, and you can have a play with it, sort of try both, see what works for you. So just making sure that you've done a little bit of wrist mobility, a little bit of foot mobility, just to warm those joints up. So just a little bit of movement in those joints, just to make sure that the feet and the wrists are quite warm. So we're going to start in all fours to start with. So just the placement of the hips and the knees underneath the hips. And we're bringing this back foot to the front hand. So you just bring it out wide, place it down on the ground. Now if you need to pick that foot up, so if you need to actually just literally lift it and put it where it needs to be, do so. That's where your body is at the moment. That is completely fine. And then find stability through this foot. You could even press that foot into the ground to get the brain and the foot connection really, really strong. So the brain knows this foot is going to plant into the ground, and we're going to lift the spine up long and just place the hands on the hips. Now at this point, this knee is underneath this foot, or it's not over. So it could be a little bit back. You may wish to change the stance. You may wish to walk that foot a little bit wider, so you've got a wider stance. Or this back knee, you could take a little bit further back. You could come down to the ground, just take that knee a little bit further back. So you're more on the kneecap. That feels more comfortable to me. And then when you've found that stability, using the breath, soften the shoulders, you can raise the arms up into the air, not taking them too close to the elbow or to the ears. You can see the difference there. I find that quite restricting, to just opening them out a little bit wider, creating some space between the shoulders. The stability comes from planting that front foot. Imagine the thighs drawing towards each other. And then we can bring the hands down and just take that foot back to all fours. And then we can switch sides. So we just take this leg, you can either take it back like that, lengthening it out, and then bringing the foot round, taking it wide, bringing it towards the hand. Again, spreading those toes, planting that foot, pushing up. Hands on the hips to find stability. And then once again, raising the arms up in the air. So this is good for shoulder flexion, strength through the foot, hip mobility, because we're opening the hip out here, the hip flexors, and we're bending into this hip here. And the thing that I call axial, or we were taught axial elongation, it was just drilled into us on yoga teacher training. It means length through the spine. So the axis, the centre of our body, the spine, lengthen it up, elongating it up. So the arms you can take them up over the head, you can take them wide into cactus arms, or at the moment you could just leave them on the hips. Soften the shoulders. Maybe fixing a soft gaze just in front of you to help with balance. And then bringing the hands back down. Taking that foot back, maybe just releasing those hips side to side. And then I'll show you from downward facing dog. So planting those hands, tucking the toes, coming up into downward facing dog. And then bringing the right foot out wide. Dropping that back knee, untucking the toe. And again, planting that foot, lengthening through the spine. You might wish to just feel how it feels to come down. Press through that foot, draw the inner thighs together and come back up. Coming back down to the ground, planting the hands, you could tuck that back toe, lengthen the leg away, and then back into downward facing dog. That was a little bit technical. So don't worry, you could have stepped back again to all fours, tucking the toes, coming back into downward facing dog. Left foot this time, you could raise it into the air if you want, or you could just bring it forward, planting that hand onto the ground, back knee lowers, untuck the toe, press through, coming up, lengthening that spine, arms coming up, softening down. Finding that support from the ground and not forgetting to breathe. Always breathing, coming back down, back to all fours and just sitting back on the heels. So see how you go with low lunge? Just work up to it. So if you start on all fours and that's where you remain until you feel comfortable and you get more mobility in the hips to bring the foot forward, that's fine. If you want to try it from downward facing dog, have a little play with that, that's okay too. But also remember, have some fun with it. So I will see you on the next video.